Ah, hello, Bull fam. Hello, Bull family. So, um, the Chargers just lost the game to the Texans a couple of days ago. Look at my new shirt that Joji got me for Christmas. I asked her for a Charger shirt. I love it. It didn't work though. I wore it at game day. Um, I'm not depressed about the game. Oh, here's another thing she got me. This thing right here. So it's made out of metal and it's got a lid like this. So I can keep things hot. So I can. Usually I have my coffee. First couple of cups are just down, but then after that I slow down to the sip pace, and I can just have my coffee stay hot the whole time. I'm so excited! It's one of the best gifts. I know she got me a third thing, but this is the cool stuff right here. So why are you not upset and depressed? I was watching some of my bloggers here. The guy's called the director. He's like, "Oh, Lobo family, it's the worst game I've ever seen. It's so sad. It's so horrible." And so here's the thing. I'm gonna break that down. I'm gonna tell you how this is actually a good thing. What? I don't know. The title's gonna be something like that. It's actually a good thing that we lost. Why? Let me explain it to you. So it's not a good thing in a way. Like obviously we could have won that game. Obviously we should have won that game. Obviously we're better than Houston. I don't care what all these stupid talking head sports guys. That's why I don't watch those guys. Every week they change their story anyway. These guys are they're worse than fake news because they're just like wobbly news. They don't really have. I got a couple that I watch. I can't think of the name of that one. Check the mic is I like those guys. They're very fair and balanced, and a couple Charger guys that are, but they're mostly this. Whatever. They just change every week. But a couple takeaways from that game. First of all, very unusual, very uncharacteristic. Like after the bye week, Chargers come out. They're on fire. They won 4 games in a row. They beat some of the best teams in the NFL. They're playing really good football. So they beat the best offense in the NFL. They just beat them like a drum. And then they go to play this game, right? So why is this a good thing? Well, they went to play this game against the best. I think the best defense. I think them and Denver and the Chargers are the best three defenses in the NFL. There's a couple others that I can't think of right now. Maybe Seattle. I don't know. But Denver's the best. Denver's got the best. And here's what happened. We almost won. So even though we spotted them 2 touchdowns, we almost won. Right? So think about that. He's the best defense in the league. Herbert's had 54 pressures or something like that. 54 pressures, more than in the history of the NFL. The worst. I remember Phil Rivers the last few years of his career with the Chargers. He had no blocking, no O line at all, and he was the king of the 2 second, 2 second. That's why I always do this thing now. Whenever I watch football, I go 1, 2, 3, throw the dang football. Because if you don't throw the football, you're done, right? That's how it is in the NFL. But Rivers he just overcame it, and he was pretty darn good. And by the way, I have to say, well, it's just old. That's why the Colts didn't win any games. They didn't win any games because their defense is terrible. The Colts defense they should have beat the Seahawks for sure. They should have beat the Jags if they had any decent kind of defense. Yeah, you throw in interceptions. Yeah, when you're in an emergency situation, he's gonna throw the ball. I mean, like I always says, I'm gonna try. But he had pretty good. He did good. It wasn't him. It was other reasons why that team didn't win. Anyway, I'm very proud of Phil Rivers. By the way, I think he just ensured himself a place in the Hall eventually. Anyway. So here's the thing about Justin Herbert. He's up against the best defense, and our O line's terrible. They're still terrible. Our center's probably the worst in the league. I hope they get rid of that guy, please. Right? And then the guy we have playing left tackle, he's a pretty good right tackle, Bobby Hart, but he was terrible. Anyway, terrible, terrible, terrible. But Justin's still overcoming it. Let me tell you something. Justin Herbert is the MVP. I don't care who gets the award. I know it doesn't work that way. If your team's not good, you don't get the MVP. You don't have to be a Super Bowl team, but you have to be a contender and you have to have good stats. He doesn't have good stats. Why? Because he has no O line. I mean, he's had a couple amazing games with the stats, but what's amazing, and even people like Tom Brady and all the other former quarterbacks, they all say he's the best. Why? Because you got an O line like Matthew Stafford has. If Justin Herbert had that O line, my gosh, he doesn't have. He's running around doing. The man is magical. He does amazing things. He is the most valuable player in the NFL. We would only have 6 wins if it wasn't for Justin Herbert playing quarterback, guys. So why am I happy? Because now they get to rest him. They said, he re-injured his hand or something. I don't know what's going on. They say, it's probably so they're going to rest him. Why? Because it doesn't matter now. We had a chance to win the division, so that's kind of sad. Like Denver, they barely won so many games this year. They're kind of like Kansas City was last year. They had a lot of those games where they just pulled it out. Maybe they got some help from the refs. I don't know, but they're not as good as everybody thinks they are. They're one and done in the playoffs. Let me tell you something. I think they're one and done. I think the Patriots had the easiest schedule in the NFL. Yeah, they're a good team, but I tell you the only team that scares me really is Jacksonville because ever since they played the Chargers, they've been on fire. Houston has a good defense, but no offense really. I know they torched us for a couple of plays, but that's why I'm not so sad because we should have won that play. Cameron Dicker. So I say it's uncharacteristic. It's not normal that Cameron Dicker misses a 30-some yard field goal and an extra point. There's 4 points. How much did we lose by? Wait a minute. 4 points. Right? You see what I'm saying? So spotting them 14 points, we still almost pull that game off. We're better than they are, guys. So that's why it's good news. Why? Because here's the thing. This is just the way I look at it. I could be wrong. You get in the playoffs and it's a whole new season, right? And now all of a sudden stuff like that, well, there's your motivation. So if we get to play them again in the playoffs in Houston, I would want to beat them. We will beat them, and it gives us a chance for people to get healthy because now we don't. Because here, like someone, I don't remember who said this. Here's a scenario if we won that game. And now we actually get to play for the division and the number 2 seed, in the AFC and a home game and all that stuff's important, right? So now we go and play, and Justin's still hurt, and now he gets more hurt, and our O line is still crippled, and Jamari Sawyer, and we got people that can step in and actually do a little bit okay compared to what's been going on, and now they're not getting well, right? Right? And then you limp you what they say limp into the playoffs. This way you got like a bye week. They played on Saturday, so Justin's going to have pretty good recovery time here, so we can get better and recover. We take out our take out sit like Harbaugh said. We're going to sit all the guys with the bruises and the cuts that need to sit, and that's a good choice. So why am I happy? Because if you don't win the division, you don't get a home game. It doesn't really matter. Like people say, well, I'd rather play Pittsburgh. Well, you're not magical. You can't decide how the other teams are going to do. So you know what? Just let it go. And here's the thing. What would be really cool? Here's what I'm looking for. What would be really cool is if our backup quarterback goes in there and beats the Broncos anyway, because they're fake. They're not as good as everybody. They have a good defense. I'll give them that. But Bo Nix is not as good as everybody thinks he is. I mean, yeah, he's good, but he's not Justin Herbert, guys. And at the end of the day, because of our O line situation and all that, I don't I would love it if we made a run all the way, but it's possible. But I think what's more likely is that we just win a playoff game compared to last year. We win that playoff game. I really don't want Jacksonville in there. I don't know. They just tick me off because of what they did to us a few years ago. I know. Normally I'd pull for Jacksonville because they're like the underdogs, but I think if the Chargers don't make it, I'm pulling for Buffalo because I've been a huge Allen fan for years. They should have won that game anyway. So that's what I got to say about that. I'm pretty excited. I'm looking forward to the playoffs. I don't even know if I'm going to watch it this week. I don't even know if I'll watch the Charger. I'll just watch the highlights, the short highlights, because chances are that they could get stomped because the Broncos are going to play for it because they're trying to get first seed. They don't even they want a bye week for sure, right? So let's just hope that the Patriots win, and let's hope somehow the Chargers can knock them off their seat somehow, even with our backups. Wouldn't that be sweet? And then let's hope we get to play Denver in the playoffs. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you didn't win the division that year. People will remember what happens in the playoffs, and it's about time for something good to happen for the Chargers. So one more time, guys. Da 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 da. Charge! Bye bye. Ta ta for now.